Well, we are live. It's my first show of Disconnect to Connect, conversations that make a difference. And I have my good friend, Manuel, right? That, yeah, we're just going to have a conversation today around um, connection. And what that means. I think the main reason that I named the show this and I wanted you on is because there's a question that I have daily, and it's like, what do I need to know, or that I need to get a new revelation on that will make a difference in my life? And so that question is always running around for me. And so I wanted to include my friends within this conversation to see what that means to them. So introduce yourself, Manuel.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me. Yeah, my name is Manuel Shipwood. We just in the conversation before going live, we just talked about something we'll mention later, and so this is why I'm smiling, because I just thinking, okay, which labels should I choose now, or not? So
the labels, they always come up, right? You know?
Yeah. Well, we met each other in LA years ago, and it was a business meeting. So it's okay, I think, to mention what I do.
Absolutely.
So there are labels like coach or consultant or spiritual teacher or whatever you want to call it. Like, so yeah, I work with people on supporting them on becoming more aware in their life and business, and and everything what derives from that. Very, very happy to be here today.
No, well, thank you. So, how this time with COVID-19, and I'm in the States, and you're not. Where are you located right now?
Yeah, I'm currently in Europe. I'm in Germany right now.
Right. So because of this wonderful technology that we have, we're able to connect, right?
Right.
And even a couple years ago, when we met at our business meeting, it was I was rebranding myself and trying to figure out things, but I knew that I needed to make some connections. And I think we first talked over lunch.
Right.
And little did I know that, a couple years later, one, we would be still connected, and
Right.
there would be a connection on a level that I didn't consider. I really didn't consider. Right. It was like, look, I'm going to make connections with people to make money, right? That was it. That was the only connection, and that's only thing that it meant. Anything outside of that, as a friend, as a fellow coach and coach me through some things, and we're able to coach each other and just relate to that, and just being open to that. And it was very interesting to see the evolution of our connection, and just allowing that to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, very true. Very true. Absolutely. Yeah. I heard that alert, by the way. So
right, you heard that alert. Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, or it's more than that now, that there was another narrative about our virtual connections, and technology, and that people looked at technology as something that was disconnecting us, that was basically not really enabling us to go on a deeper level. It's like we were missing the face-to-face and, hugging each other and all that other kind of stuff. And there were more people that were in their phones or online and really not doing it. But now, because of this pandemic, we are using this technology to kind of stay connected on a deep level, and really having the conversations that that we want to have now.
Right. It was like back then. It was like, okay, there's something in between of us. Like it's well, it's a medium. That's what it is. It is
Right.
in between of us. It's a middle layer, and we thought it is a hindrance. And today we fall back on, okay, this is the only thing between us, and that's a good thing, because this is what connects us also. So I think, philosophically speaking, it's very interesting that you can and especially in our work as coaches and consultants working with people on their own challenges, I think it's very interesting when we see potential hindrances and conflicts, which always seem to be a layer in between of us, blocking the connection. We understand that, hey, well, if you are connected to that conflict, then I'm connected to that conflict or medium or layer or whatever it is.
Right.
Then we are connected in a way, like not really a direct connection, but an indirect connection. So how to use this layer, whatever it is, if it's a technical medium, if it's some common topic, whatever it is, how do we utilize that to be connected, and may it be through challenges, right?
It's one thing. The other thing that occurs to me through this pandemic is that, you would hear that, it's a small world and we're all connected and all that other kind of stuff. Little did we know, outside of the technology that's available, it's our health. Things that we do and don't do can affect our health and how we can breathe and how we can be out in public and all that. And so, not really getting into where it came from and how people can get it, or the medium of that, but really recognizing that what I guess the butterfly effect, right? It's like why do, or what is being done in another country can affect what's happening around the world.
All right.
And I think we kind of knew that, but now we kind of feel that really because of the way our economy is.
Yeah, and that's again both ways of seeing it. Like on the one hand, it's the negative effect or the uncomfortable effect we have of causes in other countries, or like actions of other people seemingly far away, and it has an effect on us. But at the same time, we also have the positive narrative or the positive perspective of it, or the wholesome and supporting perspective of it, seeing, okay, this is cause and effect, but then again, I have the ability to initiate a cause and effect cycle and say, okay, if I start whatever it is, like, I don't know if it's an international phenomenon, but in Germany they are going on the balcony at 9 p.m. and applaud for the health stuff.
There's some cities in the States that are doing that also.
Right. So that's just, and we can discuss whether it makes sense or not, or whether it makes more sense to pay them accordingly.
Right.
But then again, it's just an idea of just an example to say, okay, I have the ability to initiate something. I can open the window and play music or whatever it is. And there's always a downside. Okay, I'm annoying people as well. But how do I utilize that connectivity that is not that much in a constraint of regional connections. But really, it's okay. I can do something, and thanks to Twitter and Facebook and whatnot, it will have an effect in 2 seconds in China or wherever.
Right. Well, it is, when you were speaking, what was coming to mind was, my my current journey, my self-discovery journey that I'm on. And recently I've been saying that the more that I recognize that I'm on this journey alone with others, but there are people, around me that are connected to me, but there's a large part of this journey of discovery that I'm going to do alone. And so how I articulate what's happening on this journey will kind of, I don't want to say dictate, but will kind of have an effect on the connections or the people that are on this journey with me or around me. And it's really caused me to look at my connections. When I was, really looking at doing a show like this or how I show up in my business, not really knowing who I was connected to and how I was connected to people. And it was like, geez, I have some amazing people that I'm connected to that I really don't reach out to, and really, are very supportive of what's, of my journey and everything, but I don't know, just really not feeling that, that I could, let them know, hey, this is where I am on my journey, or this is how I can, and go from there. So when you think of connection, just connections in your life, or, outside the medium, or, relationships, however connection shows up for you, what comes up for you?
Well, why you were just talking about how you realize that you have a lot of connections or network or friends and family or whatever, you're not really connecting to on a regular basis in the way you could. I was reminded about a Instagram live I did, like, I don't know, months ago or so, and I just stumbled upon it late, like a week ago or so, and watched it again, and I was talking about, and that's where connection again comes in, to share your experience, to share your epiphanies, your learnings, and also the challenges you're going through, and the transformation process you're going through, because I think there's so much potential, way more potential than you think, in the synergetic effect you create when you share it, and you even have some feedback of your best friends, and I was just encouraging people to share their experience, to share what they are going through in a way that is comfortable for them, and so that was what I was thinking of right away. I really can relate to what you just said about having, let me call it network. It sounds businessy, but let me call it network for now. Here you go with the labels. But that we, I don't know about saying we, but I think, when you asked me about myself, so I have a network of people which is also like you. I think it is bigger than I realize, and I have friends and colleagues telling me that I'm not really using my network at all in the way I could. Talking businessy now, but right. And I am myself. I'm totally astonished sometimes when I look into my Rolodex. I just want to see how old I am. into my LinkedIn and right. Facebook or whatever it is, and into my address book and see, oh wow, look who's in there, and he knows her and she knows him and whatnot, and so we're really gonna do that. But that's again that's the businessy side of it, I think. Well, let me put it that way. I just had a before this live show here, I had a lovely call with a new client of mine, and we were talking about being natural with authentic encounter, with meeting people, with connecting in on a physical level when you're in the same room. Some of you may remember that was before March 2020. Right? So and how we miss that, actually, and especially when you're very natural and relaxed with human interaction on a physical level, when you're kind of tactile person, or just being natural with that. It's really something we're missing right now. But then again, I always, it's so funny. Stop me when I'm talking too much here. But the funny thing about the whole quarantine situation here is that weeks before, and please people don't blame me, I'm not the one who did it, but weeks before it all started, I was reading about a retreat, about a single retreat. So some of you may know I'm a Buddhist, and I'm into all this stuff, and meditating daily and stuff, and I was reading about like an opportunity to be in a little hut, an institute where I study is offering to be in a little hut in the woods without anything, with a mobile turned off. Yes, that's possible, and disconnect to connect. And that's where your name of the show comes in.
Absolutely.
I was thinking, okay, that must be so beautiful. To just have intentionally a specific amount of time where I just have only for meeting myself, because nobody else is there, and just being alone with myself in a specific way. I mean, I'm now alone with myself in this room, but you know what I mean. It's totally different when it's okay, I meditate now for a month or so, and only have contact when someone brings me food in front of the door and nothing else. So okay, and I was thinking, okay, that must be beautiful in a way. And then I think a week after that, the announcement came, oh, by the way, stay at home.
Right.
Didn't really manifest that in a way, because I was just, okay, I can't do that because I have to go I have to work and go on the internet and everything. So I cannot really do that now, because I have projects running and clients depending on me and everything. So I need some kind of in-between. And the in-between was created and manifested, and there it was. So sorry, guys.
Yeah, it is very, very interesting that like you, I long to have time with myself and kind of reflect and kind of just quiet things. But when there's a forced, it's like, hey, you need to be quiet, or you can't go somewhere. Now it is like, wait a minute, there are all these places, all these things that I need to do, and I'm missing out. FOMO comes in now. Before, this lovely thing of being by myself, now it's like, I'm trapped here, and how dare you make me do this? And just before everything was kind of shutting down, I was at Wisdom 2.0. And that's a conference on spirituality and technology and where they connect and how they can support each other. And the one thing, it was my second year going, but the one thing that it was startling for me is that moment of engagement, of meeting someone, of, you know, the shaking of the hands or the hug or the just the physical acknowledgement that there was this pause because of this thing. And it's like, it was like, so, oh, you know, I can't shake your hand. I can't hug you. I can't, it's like, all right. And I think like you were pointing to, is that there's this in between of, you know, of disconnecting from people or disconnecting from stuff, to, you know, for our safety, so we can connect on a level. And so I think in this time, we're going to have to redefine what connection means, and not just put, you know, virtual connection, and that is less than connection. Connection is connection, and where we find it and how we find it, and what we give importance to, because there's a lot of people, you know, even you, I think I mentioned earlier this week, that it was almost a year that we have talked, and it was like, where did a year ago? There was a lot of there was a lot of things happening, and I mean, we had a wonderful conversation a year ago, and it was like, what happened? What, you know,
why don't we?
and there's so many relationships, and there's so many connections that get away from us because we, frankly, we allow them to get away from us.
But I think that, I mean, absolutely right. I'm with you there. But at the same time, I want to reconnect that notion of we let them not really disappear, but they are not in our conscious surrounding, because we're not on the phone all the time. But then again, maybe in this connection, in these connections, and what we already experienced when we talked to each other, was that the connection is still there. And people know that from best friends and just or whatever you want to call it, label again, or from connections that are special in a way, that the connection doesn't really cut off. It is still there. You can still resume the connection in seconds, and sit with each other and talk about the whole year, catch up, and then whatever. And I think that's also a beautiful thing you just pointed out. I mean, I am a hugger. I don't know what I would do if I could, but I'm always like, come here, bring it in, you know. I mean, so. But then again, meeting someone and being forced, not really forced, but I mean, you could, but being aware of, okay, let's try this in a different way. It's also a chance. It's a beautiful opportunity to realize, okay, where else can we connect on an energetical level? And maybe we pause here in this distance and do this, and be totally respectful with each other, and try to sense the other one, and sense where am I, where's he or she, and how do we connect without being physically connected? And especially as someone who's, I mean, I was working on body awareness and everything with my clients, and I'm trained in psychotherapeutic massage techniques and everything. So I'm really a tactile person I love the holistic idea of how body, mind, and soul are connected, and that we shall address things on all levels simultaneously, etc. So, but still, it's such an opportunity to sense all the other levels we maybe sometimes forget, and we're just on the outside. We're just on hi buddy, how are you doing? But not really feeling it, meaning it, etc. etc.
Right. No, I totally get it. And we one thing that came to mind, and it just came to mind. It's like, when I was dealing with the beginning of a very difficult time in my life, I was with a therapist, and I told them that my life has fallen apart, and she said, "No, your life isn't falling apart. It just feels that way." And it was just like, no, no, I can see that it's fallen apart. And it's like the same thing with our connections, is that even though I feel like, because of time and numbers of calls, that we're not connected, there's still a connection. There is still a connection there. And so even though, I am not my feelings, right? But our feelings get in the way and make us think that, hey, I haven't talked to Manuel in a while, so I guess we're not friends anymore, or he's too busy, or we have some judgments. We create some judgments, and then we create a story. And then we feel that our connection isn't as strong as it is, or it could be. I mean, there are some times where there is some difference, but there's many times that there's not.
And I think that's important. I know what you mean, and I know you're just saying it to make it, using these words. But I think it's important to point out that it is not our feelings telling us, but it's our thoughts. And as you said, it's our stories and judgments and so on. So I think it's a very important distinction between, okay, where do my feelings, which I can really sense, and where does my thought begin of interpreting this feeling of judging, of evaluating, whatever, and saying, okay, and where's my creative mind just putting on a story and saying, okay, it's because of that. No, it's not. It's just what it is. But I have the idea that it might be because of that. And that's actually one of the most important things I'm training and coaching my clients on, to question your own thoughts as often as possible and step back and be the observer only and say, okay, what is it really there? What are my sense perceptions, and what are my feelings, my emotions, and then where do my thoughts and judgments begin? Right. And to stand on that line and wait. Okay. just wait, and then say, okay, we haven't talked for 2 years.
Right.
Period.
Right.
Right. So that's what it's that's what I can see, or what I whatever read. And then again, to question yourself and say, okay, where do I go from here? What do I choose to be now? What do I choose to do? So maybe I just see, okay, I haven't talked to this or that person for 3 years now. It's becoming more and more.
10 soon, right?
And whatever.
Right.
And and where do I go from here? And what do I really? What's my intuition telling me? What do I want to do? And then maybe it's okay. Maybe I wait for another year because that's the distance I need from that person. And then of course it's maybe it's challenging, but it's worth it to look into that and see, okay, am I just reconnecting to that person because I think I have to? Because we try to live a pattern that we inherited from someone else. People do that, friends do that, and they're the labels again. So we are best friends. So now we have to talk more than just normal friends, right? And no, we're no acquaintances, and no, we're just business contact. So we don't have to ask ourselves if he's good or not. I don't really like that.
Yeah, it's really for me. Facebook occurred to me a number of years ago as when it's like they redefine friend, right? So it's like you made acquaintances friends, because people say, well, it's my Facebook friend, as that's like it's like a less than friend, right? It's someone that I'm just connected to on the internet means nothing. But you could have good friends in there, but they're just Facebook friends. But what I realized when I was connecting with some people from high school and some people from college, that when I reconnected with them, there was that connection still, but we just lost awareness of that connection because of moving and all that other kind of stuff. But there were some people that I thought I had a strong connection with in college or in high school. We connected, and it's like, there's no connection there. There's no connection there. All right, that's okay.
Still being there. Yeah,
right. It's like, okay, all right, that's fine too. But really, recognizing that the connection, once the connection is made, unless I guess we break it, and I think there's a number of things that we can do to break connection. It's there. Is that? I mean, that's a way of looking at it. I think I am surprised with the number of people that I haven't talked to in a while, that we can have a conversation and there is a connection on a level that, I didn't think that we were. I don't ever remember having a deep conversation with you, or I don't ever remember really, understanding, this side of you. But that's good, or that's, or they felt that, hey, I've always felt this, with my interaction with you. And it's like, wow, okay. So really understanding and not understanding the connections that we have. And do we have to know or define or, the connections that we have on the, to really get the most out of it or maximize it or whatever we have to do with our connections.
Right. I think from a philosophical and spiritual standpoint, it's there, of course, is the idea of oneness, and I think that's a beautiful thing to reflect on and meditate on. The idea of that we are connected anyways. So no matter what, so we are all one. We are all one consciousness, and we're just portions of it. And I think whenever you're reflecting on that, contemplating on that, you see, okay, this is me. I'm just talking to myself here, in a way, and not because I'm watching on my picture, but because it's all me. This computer is me, and so this helps sometimes to understand. Also, although we are not talking and having a call every year or 2 years or whatever, or week, we are still one. We're still connected, and that's one reason why you feel like, okay, we were never disconnected, and it's just there, and we're just bringing it into our consciousness, into our awareness here on the physical level, and on the verbal level or whatever. So.
Right. There is a concept that I learned with Tony Robbins of burning the bridges, right? Basically burning the boats, really. So it's like, they tell the story of going to somewhere new and, burn the boats. So you have to, figure it out, right? And I kind of tweaked that for myself, that I would never use people as boats. I would never say that my relationship with you is so horrible, or or got to a point that I have to burn it down, and we're never going back. And so I said, boats are boats, and people are people. And so, but I recognize that there are some people that are in my life, or were in my life, that for whatever reason we could not communicate on a level consistently because of what's going on with me or anything like that. But there was always space to reconnect, to have a conversation, to, be cordial, whatever it is. And I think, going back to what you're saying about oneness, is that if there's parts of myself that I deny or ignore, or something. But the more that I learn to love my whole self, or recognize that there are some parts of me that are horrible, or whatever, or that I have judgments about, but it's still me, then I can do the same for other people. Then I can do a number of things for my connections that I have.
Absolutely beautiful, and I think this is very important to understand, that all these horrible aspects, as we judge them inside of us, are represented, are mirrored by people we meet in our life, and we show ourselves on the outside by creating, meeting, focusing on horrible people, to show ourselves, okay, this is a part of you you're showing yourself. That's what you want to look at, and that's where you want to develop. That's what you want to integrate. That's something you carrying with you from the past, and you want to transform or whatever. And I think that's very important. As soon as you integrate that, transform that, the reason to show that on the outside, meaning connecting on the outside in a conservative way, like talking to each other and meeting physically, and being around those people physically, isn't needed anymore, because you solved it inside of you, or you worked with that or whatever. And so I think it is important that you may make intentional life choices where you say, okay, these relationships didn't work out in the way, like, and that doesn't matter what it is. It can be a romantic, or it can be a business partner, or your parents, or whatever it is, but there are maybe entities of that one consciousness that had a specific shape and color to show you, oh, by the way, there's something you want to look at. And then you make the choice, okay, I want to do that, and I want to distance myself from a specific behavior or whatever it is. And by distancing yourself from that behavior on the outside, you also distance yourself from that behavior on the inside. Because if you're doing it consciously, by the way, it's not running away. Obviously, it's looking at it, becoming aware of it, toxicity maybe, becoming aware of the benefits from seeing it, learning from it, integrating it, and then you distance yourself from people on the outside, and from aspects of your toxic behavior on your inside. And then you integrate that. So
okay, now you gave me something that's
the beauty of
that has made a difference, right? That is great. I really got that. I really appreciate that sharing there. What within this conversation, because I know we can go on and on, but we have stuff to do, right? What in this conversation for you has made a difference, or what difference do you feel or think this could have.
It's hard to pick and choose here, but it's for me. It's always interesting to verbalize it for greater good. So hopefully someone else watched it, but also for having our conversation and to get across an idea or perspective. I think it always helps to put it in words, to realize what am I thinking there, and where do I want to go with that. I think yeah, what really stuck is, in a positive way, the idea of sensing the connection on every level and focusing on where are we connected when we are not connected on the outside world.
Yeah.
Feeling it. Yeah.
No, I definitely got that, and I appreciate that. That is something that, when I look at how I'm interacting with people, it's really a reflection of how I'm interacting with myself. I had a pastor say a number of years ago that you can't give what you don't have.
Right.
And at the time I was like, oh, okay. But now really, loving people on a level that I want to, really appreciating people. It first it's what's going on within me. So
I just want to add something very little, very beautiful.
Okay.
Just about that. I love how His Holiness the Dalai Lama said, approach everyone as if he or she is your best friend. So in the first encounter being, hello, you're my best friend. It's so beautiful to see you in your head and your heart. Not putting it out there in these words every time, but feeling it and approaching everybody in this manner. It's a beautiful thing. Everybody should try.
Right.
Yeah.
You're my best friend, and it's and that should start in the mirror, right? So this has been great. How can we stay in contact with you or get in contact with you?
Yeah, I mean, everybody who's watching obviously saw my tag in the post. So that's a good way to connect. Best way is if you're on Facebook already, be on Facebook. Manuel Shipwood is tagged here in the post. So just send me a message or write in the comments if you want to get in contact, and that'll be
wonderful. Now, are you on LinkedIn or anything?
Absolutely, I'm everywhere. Yeah, I'm LinkedIn. Just Google me on LinkedIn. I'm on wherever, Instagram.
Right.
Yeah.
I am WilliamBrown.com. I am so surprised that I just got that a year ago. That because every time when I meet someone, I say, hey, look me up with all the other hundreds of thousands of William Browns. And, a little game for yourself, right?
Yeah, it's easier for me than with you. Yeah, easier for me. You find me most.
Yeah, you can find me on IamWilliamBrown.com, and I'll be sharing some more disconnect to connect conversations, because the more that we are willing to disconnect from a way of thinking or a way of being, we can connect to what's most important to us, and that's each other. So thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.